Today our topic is how to face death without fear. Death is something everyone will face, but many people fear it. It is natural to feel scared of the unknown, but there are ways to face death without fear. Let us explore this topic step by step. First, we need to understand what death is. Death is the end of life, but it is also a part of life. Everything that lives will one day die. This is a fact, and accepting it can help us live better. The fear of death often comes from not knowing what happens after we die. Some people believe in an afterlife, while others think death is the end. No one knows for sure, but we can choose how we think about it. One way to face death without fear is to focus on the present moment. Life is happening right now, and we should not waste it worrying about something we cannot control. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain. The only time we have is now. By living fully in the present, we can make the most of our lives and reduce our fear of death. Another way to face death is to accept it as a natural part of life. Just as we accept the changing of the seasons, we can accept the cycle of life and death. Everything in nature has a beginning and an end. Trees grow, flowers bloom, and then they wither. Animals are born, live their lives, and then die. This is the way of the world, and it is beautiful in its own way. By seeing death as a natural process, we can feel more at peace with it. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, teaches us to accept things we cannot change. The Stoics believe that we should focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. Death is something we cannot control, so worrying about it is pointless. Instead, we should focus on living a good life. A good life is not about avoiding death, but about living with virtue and purpose. The Stoics also believe that thinking about death can help us appreciate life more. By remembering that our time is limited, we can value each moment and make better choices. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, wrote, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." This means that we should not take life for granted, but use our time wisely. Another way to face death without fear is to think about what legacy we will leave behind. When we die, we will be remembered for how we lived. Did we treat others with kindness? Did we make the world a better place? These are the things that matter. By focusing on our actions and their impact, we can create a meaningful life. Even if we are afraid of death, we can find comfort in knowing that our life had purpose. Some people find comfort in religion or spirituality. Many religions teach that death is not the end, but a transition to another state of being. For example, in Christianity, death is seen as a passage to eternal life. In Buddhism, death is part of the cycle of rebirth. These beliefs can help people feel less afraid of death, because they offer hope and meaning. Even if you are not religious, you can find your own sense of meaning and purpose. This can come from your relationships, your work, or your passions. Knowing that your life has meaning can make death less scary. It is also important to talk about death openly. Many people avoid the topic because it makes them uncomfortable, but this only increases the fear. By talking about death, we can understand it better and feel more prepared. This does not mean we should dwell on it, but we should not ignore it either. Talking about death can also help us make plans for the end of our lives, such as writing a will or discussing our wishes with loved ones. This can give us a sense of control and reduce anxiety. Facing death without fear also means letting go of attachments. We often fear death because we are attached to things in life, such as our possessions, our relationships, or our identities. But these things are temporary. Nothing lasts forever, and holding on too tightly can cause suffering. By learning to let go, we can find freedom and peace. This does not mean we should not care about anything, but we should not cling to things as if they will last forever. Another important point is to live without regrets. Many people fear death because they feel they have not lived fully or made mistakes they cannot undo. To face death without fear, we should try to live in a way that we can be proud of. This means making choices that align with our values and treating others with respect and kindness. It also means forgiving ourselves for our mistakes and learning from them. No one is perfect, and we all make mistakes, but what matters is that we try to do better. Finally, we should remember that we are not alone in facing death. Everyone dies, and everyone fears it to some degree. Knowing that we are all in this together can be comforting. We can support each other and share our thoughts and feelings about death. This can help us feel less isolated and more connected. In conclusion, facing death without fear is not easy, but it is possible. By accepting death as a natural part of life, focusing on the present moment, and living with purpose, we can reduce our fear. Stoicism teaches us to accept what we cannot control and to live with virtue. Thinking about death can help us appreciate life more and make better choices. Talking about death openly, letting go of attachments, and living without regrets can also help. Whether through religion, spirituality, or personal meaning, we can find ways to face death with courage and peace. Death is inevitable, but how we think about it and live our lives is within our control. Let us not waste our time fearing death, but instead focus on living a good and meaningful life.